Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Smart Reviews. This is Dylan, your host. Before we get into the video, I just want to put out a little bit of a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, so before you go out and buy something based strictly off of what I say, please do your own research and your own due diligence. Also, never spend more than you're willing to lose. Cryptocurrency is a volatile place, so please be careful. Now let's talk cryptocurrency. Alright, hello everyone and welcome. This is Dylan of Crypto Smart Reviews, and today I'm going to be taking you through which coin or token is the cryptocurrency of the future. Pretty broad, interesting, speculative question. Well, let's dive on in. So this is the case for Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin, as we all know, it's the name brand. It's super easy to purchase. It's still growing in value. They're having some scaling trouble, but they're working on it. You know, they forked with Bitcoin Cash, which I'll get into in a bit. And they are right now, as of right now, the main blockchain solution out there. So the name brand is the biggest thing that I feel for the case for Bitcoin. Now, the fact that it's such a big name brand, and the fact that it's everywhere on every single exchange, and it is what people, associate cryptocurrency with in the first place. And if you ask, some random stranger on the street, what is a coin in cryptocurrency, they're going to say Bitcoin. And that's just because of a couple different things, good marketing, it's a solid product too, and they were really early on in this crypto space that we're in right now. And so with how easy they are to purchase, so they are on, simple things like Coinbase. That's by far the number one place to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and potentially Ripple, hopefully in the future. But Coinbase is by far the number one service out there to purchase Bitcoin with, whether you're going from, a bank wire transfer or a credit card purchase. So what I see happening with Bitcoin is more and more exchanges are going to have more and more coins, and the only way to really get that coin is to import a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin onto that website, onto that exchange to buy other coins with. So Bitcoin is still growing in value, and it's been up and down lately, early on in 2018, but as more and more money gets poured into cryptocurrency, the first place it's going to go is Bitcoin. There's no doubt in my mind at this moment that the first place the new money entering cryptocurrency is going to go is Bitcoin, and that is because of the brandability again. If people that haven't done any research on cryptocurrency want to get into the space, they're going to have to go through Bitcoin first. And for that reason alone, Bitcoin is probably going to remain the biggest coin that there is out there for at least 2018 and possibly the next 10-15 years at least. So the fact that they're working on scaling is another positive with Bitcoin. Recently not too recently, but a while back they forked with Bitcoin Cash, and while there was a lot of people in the Bitcoin community that didn't really agree with that, or maybe didn't understand totally what they were doing, it's good to see that they're at least working on solutions as to how to deal with this scaling problem. And they're if many of you may know this, they're very close to hitting their their max supply of Bitcoins. And once that happens, we're not really sure what's going to happen. We've seen other coins hit their max supply. We've seen how that affects them, and it affects every coin differently, based on a lot of different factors. But how is that going to affect Bitcoin, the biggest coin out there? Who knows, It's completely speculative at this point. We have nothing to go off of, really. Alright, well that was the case for Bitcoin. Now let's talk about Ethereum. So this is the case for Ethereum. Ethereum keeps on growing and growing, and it's growing at a rate that's faster than Bitcoin, at least for the last, 2 months or so since Bitcoin had that meteoric rise. It's kind of leveled off, but as that Bitcoin is just leveled off, Ethereum keeps going up and up and up. In the past month or so, Ethereum is probably up. I mean, I haven't checked, but it's probably up over 100%, which is 2 times value. As I was saying earlier, Bitcoin's close to its max supply, and we're not sure what's going to happen there. Once that happens, there is a possibility that people will start to pour their money into Ethereum. And another thing that happens is that once Bitcoin reaches its max supply, there's no Bitcoin mining anymore. And what's the next biggest potential mine you can do? Ethereum. So there's probably going to be a lot more coins in circulation of Ethereum once Bitcoin hits that max supply. And speaking of max supply, Ethereum is still undecided on what their max supply is. And that has a couple different stipulations, and it's really up to them. And max supply kind of affects the value of each Ethereum. So we're not really sure how the value of Ethereum currently is. But, the real thing that matters at this moment for Ethereum is that its circulating supply is huge and it's still increasing in value. And also, as that Ethereum increases in value and gets more, publicity and stuff, the name brand ability for Ethereum is really growing. And well, it's definitely not quite Bitcoin. People know if you say Ethereum, or they at least have an idea that it's something similar to Bitcoin. So Ethereum's an interesting one to watch, that's for sure. It's another one that's been out there forever. People got in a long time ago and they've made huge money off of it, just like Bitcoin. But you don't hear quite as much about Ethereum as Bitcoin. But maybe there's something wrong with that, and maybe that'll change in 2018. Who knows? Alright, let me grab a drink real quick. And then we will talk about Ripple. So if Bitcoin and Ethereum are, the cute girls on the block, Ripple is the new hot girl on the block that Bitcoin and Ethereum hate. And that's because Ripple's got some good, solid technology behind it, and it's fast, and the transaction fees are low, and it's really got a solid backing behind it. There are some scalability problems on Ripple too, but I think they have the people behind them to figure those out as they go along. It's a relatively new cryptocurrency. It's nothing like Bitcoin or Ethereum and how long it's been out there, but it's really had a meteoric rise in the past 6 months or so, and especially a couple weeks ago that rise was featured all over the news, CNBC. I think I even saw it on a CNN article, which that's big. Anytime you get big news stations or just those companies to post or talk about it on the air, that's huge because it gets it out there to people that might not have another way of means to get that information. They're not actively looking for, what Bitcoin alternatives are there, because they're just sitting there happy with their Bitcoin, watching it rise every once in a while, watching it fall again, kind of level off. And they're just sitting there with their Bitcoin, and they have no idea what anything else is. And the fact that Ripple made the news could actually be a pretty big thing. So the next point I have on here is that Brad Garlinghouse, who is the Ripple CEO, says so. And if you haven't listened to the Bad Crypto podcast that interviewed Brad Garlinghouse, I really do recommend you go listen to that. They don't get into too much complicated stuff with Ripple, and they really talk about why Ripple is going to be so big. And I actually agree with a lot of the points they made. So that's a good thing with Ripple. All right, partnerships with financial institutions. So Ripple has been discussing, I'm not sure if it's finalized, some partnerships with American Express, which that's a huge company if you can get a partnership with that from the crypto space. Because that A, gives you more name brand ability, B, shows that big companies believe in your coin. You know, it's one thing for people that are crypto investors to believe in your coin. It's another thing for big companies to believe in your coin and really back your coin. And that's something that's just so good for Ripple. Other financial institutions, um, I know they're in with a few banks, and you know that's good too because that poses well for the chance for Ripple to be exchanged with fiat currency like US dollars, euros, whatever else there is out there, you know. Alright, so that was my case for Ripple. Now let's talk about the case for Litecoin. Litecoin is currently on Coinbase, which is a big step in the right direction for a coin. It has been used a lot more lately for transactions on exchanges because it is a lot faster to send from Coinbase to another exchange than to send Bitcoin. And the transaction fees for Litecoin are a lot lower than they are for Bitcoin. So that's another big thing for Litecoin. Their transaction fees are low. They're on big exchanges like Coinbase, and you know, a lot of the bigger ones use it and have plenty of different altcoins you can exchange with Litecoin. And the transactions are decently fast. You know, it takes about 15 minutes. It's been estimated. Bitcoin takes about an hour, and lately Bitcoin's been taking a lot longer. Coinbase is so overloaded right now that recently they put out an update that you need to give them at least 72 hours to send your Bitcoin from Coinbase to another exchange, and you need to give them at least 24 hours to send your Ethereum from Coinbase to another exchange. That is huge amount of time. That is a huge amount of time in crypto space. You look at all these coins that go up and down on a daily basis, and the people that are, you know, daily traders of this stuff, of these cryptocurrencies, these altcoins, they want to be able to just send something to you know, spend their, yeah, I can't talk, I'm sorry, you know, wire transfer in $10,000 to Coinbase, and right after that they want to be able to transfer, you know, their coins from Coinbase's exchange to another exchange so they can buy these altcoins and make a fortune. And to say that it takes 24 hours for Ethereum and 72 hours for Bitcoin is like saying it takes, you know, 1 year in crypto time to send Ethereum and 3 years in crypto time to send Bitcoin. And I really believe that Litecoin is another up-and-coming one. They're another company that have a really cool, you know, he's not the CEO, but the creator, maybe he's the CEO, I'm not sure. The creator of Litecoin is Charlie Lee. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you definitely should because he's amazing. He's you know, likable guy, and he and his team are really good at what they do. All right, so those are the, you know, 4 main proponents to be the cryptocurrency of the future. Now let's talk about a couple underdogs. The first underdog I have to mention to you is Neo. And Neo is a coin that is based out of China, I believe. And people from China, Japan, and the whole, you know, Asia and Europe area really buy into these coins that are originating from Asia. And this is a large amount of the population. You know, Asia is really big, and it's a really new part of the world too. Technology-wise, they're really advanced. So they probably, this is just speculation, but I'm assuming that there's a lot more people over there buying into crypto than there are in the US. And to just see how many people there are in the US buying into crypto makes you really think, what can these Asian coins do, as they're generally preferred by the Asian people. And I don't want to get into anything too stereotypical or anything like that, but I'm just speaking generally. So Neo is another one that has a great technology behind it, and behind Neo is a technology that's designed for fast development of smart contracts, and that industry is really growing. So if you're looking for kind of an underdog that could take over, Neo is definitely one. The second one is Ryblox, and if you listen to my previous video, you know how much I like Ryblox in the future. There's a huge online following for Ryblox. People are lining up at the door to buy Ryblox once it hits Binance. It recently hit KuCoin, and KuCoin's having trouble keeping up with the demand for Ryblox, which is a good thing. We cannot complain if you own Ryblox. It's a good investment for the short term and the long term. What I mean by that is that once it hits Binance and potentially Bitrex in the near future, hopefully, it's going to see a spike in price, and that's the short-term investment. And from a long-term perspective, it's a good, solid coin backed by good technology. If you don't know, Ryblox is a nearly instant, less than 10 seconds from wallet to wallet, and it's feeless and minerless. It's a cryptocurrency that has no fees and no miners. So what that means is that all of the Ryblox that are out there are already out there, so it's reached its max supply, and the circulating supply equals max supply, and the market cap for Ryblox is continuing to grow, and that's without being on these big exchanges yet. KuCoin's a pretty big exchange, obviously speaking, but Binance is really the one that a lot of people are on. It hasn't had much reach to the people that want it, and that's another thing to go with Binance. Once it hits Binance, I'm telling you, people are going to want in on Ryblox. It's going to be big. I personally believe Ryblox is going to be big. It has a real chance to be the cryptocurrency of the future, just based on the fact that it's nearly instant and there are no transaction fees from wallet to wallet. That's just an amazing ability for a coin to have. Alright, now let's talk about a couple coins I didn't mention over the course of this video. Tron and IOTA, and these are two that are really big coins, as you probably know, but I personally just don't feel like they could ever rival Bitcoin or these other coins in the long-term future, which is what I'm talking about here. And that's because there's still no working product for either of these yet. These are more of like a future promise type of products, and that's not something that I believe in, because without a product on the surface, what are these coins? They're speculative. If you're buying into Tron or IOTA, you're buying into something that could happen, not that is happening. And with all the other coins I've talked about today, you're buying into something that's already happening as we speak. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe, and comment something I didn't mention. What else is there out there that could, take over Bitcoin, or, is better than one of these that I mentioned? What else do you think out there? And if you're looking for an exchange to use to exchange cryptocurrencies, I will recommend to you KuCoin, and my referral link will be in the description. Also, once we hit 2,000 subscribers, I will be doing a small giveaway, so be sure to stay tuned for that.